Om Shanti. The treasure. Baba gives us unlimited treasure. First, in a form of knowledge, theory. Then we have a knowledge in a practical form. We live with it, we use it. So we collect the treasure in a real sense. We are very fortunate that we have found ocean of treasure, knowledge, all the powers in our life. We even did not think or imagine that this would come to us. Did you? We maybe wanted a peace in life, or we maybe wanted a little bit attainment or good job or good degree or health, but we never thought to ask from God 21 births kingdom. Did anybody ask? 21, can raise your hand at least. No, I didn't ask. Did you? No. That 21 births kingdom, completely health, wealth and happiness, perfect in every sense, we are receiving from Baba. The question is, am I really having this treasure? Do I am using it, or I'm still asking from Baba? Baba, give more. Baba, I need this, I need that. How I am using this treasure, that's the second question. That how am I using this treasure, or am I using this treasure really in my everyday life, in my need, in my crisis, in my solving the problems, issues, because every one of us in this journey going through one thing or the other, that how I am using Gyan, knowledge, in every step and make it easier, our journey. Why do I find sometimes path of knowledge, the life that we have chose to live, becomes difficult? Why my yoga is too hard? Why there is no success in service sometimes? Because what do is we keep all these four subjects separate. We meditate in a time of meditation. We study knowledge in a time of studying the knowledge. And we do service when service project going on, full-hearted, and practical inculcation, that we put separate emphasis on it, virtues and qualities and all that. But as we know, all these subjects are interconnected. If I don't have a knowledge, I cannot meditate. If I don't meditate, I cannot do service. If I do not do service, I cannot imbibe qualities or virtues. But if we put emphasis individually on each subject, then when we really need them, it's not there. Because when I need knowledge, I'm busy doing service. Or when I need yoga power, I am doing service or reading Murli. So how I can combine all these 4 subjects and using not only in a practical way, but in a natural way. We need now, according to time of drama, we need our knowledge, our yoga, our dharana in a not only practical way, but in a natural way. We don't have to rush for my peace when I am upset. We don't have to rush for my tolerance when I need a tolerance, or when I have a answer the question. I don't have to open a book or churn the knowledge. It's like a lawyer opens a book when he has to find the point of his defense. And so means that it is not the knowledge, the yoga, the dharana, it's not become my natural form. It doesn't, we don't react or we do not act according to what we are inculcating, but we have to think about it, that I am a soul, I am a peaceful soul, so I am not supposed to get upset. Or I am a happy soul, I should not lose my happiness. So we have to sharpen our weapons when we really need. But if my knowledge is practical, natural form, then any time, any moment, if any situation occurs, automatically my reflection, my action will be naturally that way. We have so many examples. Our daddies, Dadi Prakash Mani. If you have close experience with her, her stage was very natural. Her every action, every step, she did not have to think whether it is according to knowledge or not, or it is form of a yoga or a yogi lifestyle or not. But every step she took, it was according to knowledge. Every act, every issue she used to solve is with knowledge. Natural way, not any other way would come out. Because embodiment of knowledge, embodiment of yoga and virtue was so real and so natural that there is no difference. That okay, this is my time of yoga, but when I am interacting with others, that's not my time of yoga, so I acting other way, not through yoga. And that makes difference that I am not a yogi I am a partially yogi or time-wise yogi, not permanent yogi, or not I am natural yogi or natural jnani. If I have to answer the questions, then I have to churn, but no, the answer will come automatically with jnana, not according to science or according to religious books or according to some other scholars, but no, what I imbibe from Baba. So it becomes very, very pure knowledge, pure action and pure interaction. And that is our aim. At this point in drama, we all talk about destruction, we hearing about all the time that time is very short. Baba recently said even 2 minutes is very precious for us in a confluence age. So how much we are taking in our life? Not, I wouldn't say serious, because knowledge and jnani life, BK life, is not to become serious and tense, that, oh gee, now I have to become perfect, destruction is coming, what am I going to do now? And we have to become perfect now. Immediately tomorrow there might be destruction. So all this worry that we lose our ease, we lose our relaxed state of mind, and we, instead of enjoying our Brahman life, what happens? We become tense and we worry, I might not become perfect. We never know, because time is very critical. Time is such that anything can happen to anyone or in any situation. It's nothing certain. No place is a safe place, as we know. But am I ready? What is my consciousness at this time that I have to be in that consciousness? Ever since we've been hearing this news, recent news, that earthquake happens, tsunami hits, you relaxing, you sitting by the beach and having a wonderful time, and all of a sudden earth starts shaking, and before you even realize the waves of tsunami running to you, and what would you do? Don't even have a time to run. What will be my consciousness at that time? And it's not a threat, it's not a fear, but it's a reality that people are going through that way. We are flying an aeroplane, and all of a sudden the sound comes from the above that we are facing some turbulence, and you never know what's going to happen next. We might have to land in a water or things like that. What would be my consciousness be like? In olden days, when there was a bhatti in 14 years with Baba in Karachi, and they used to, even after coming to Mount Abu, Mama used to give a drill, they call it drill, exercise, that they would imagine sitting on a mountain, and they, in their meditation, they would imagine that what if something happens like that, what will we do? If somebody is running behind you to hurt you, what will you do? So or if sannyasi comes and asks questions, what would you give answer? If a scholar comes and argues with you, debate with you, what answer will you give? So they imagine in their meditation and they prepare themselves. These dadis, they meditate and preparing themselves. Okay, there is a scholar coming to center today and I have to answer this and this question. What would I give answer? And so they churn accordingly. If some disaster strikes, what would I do? So they imagine. So they prepare. There wasn't any problem then. There wasn't any even a service then. There wasn't any center even then. But still they were preparing 70, 60 years ago themselves, and today is the time. So they had a 70 years, 72 years, and we, how much time do we have? How do I prepare myself? At the same time, I am taking all the benefit, all the joy of confluence age. That's the trick. If I am clever, I am preparing like students in a college, in a school. They enjoy, at the same time they prepare for exam, they study. But the students who only can enjoy and not study, what happens to them? They fail at the end. But those who study and have enjoyment, fun, they pass. And they have their student life, they call it's the best life. But what happens in a Brahman life? We call ourselves students. And so we study, we get up very early than anybody else, and we meditate and we try to concentrate and take things from Baba and experience our best in qualities and Baba's power and virtues, and everything start from early morning, and throughout the day we do that. But am I having the ease time? Am I relaxing? Am I enjoying my BK life? All this process giving me joy, or all this process because I understood and I have a knowledge because I have to do this. Otherwise disruption will come. I will not go to golden age. I will go to golden age, but I would not have a good status. So in that rush, I become more tense than I was before. So how do I enjoy this process? And at the same time I attain what I have to attain, which is very, very important for all of us, because Baba came to give us happiness. Baba gave us joy. Baba gave us peace. That's basically, we came for that here, to Baba. To have a peace of mind, to have a happy life, to have a healthy life. That's why people come to God. And that's why we came. But in a process of becoming perfect, like Lakshmi and Narayan, golden aged deities, all divine qualities completely viceless. All of a sudden, that little simple thing of having peace and having little comfort, we gone so busy in having a highest possible human attainment, we forget that I came to Baba for my peace of mind, my good life. I came. We ask ourselves, why have I come to Baba? What was my first day like when I walked into the center? No? I tell you what was my first day of life when I came to the center, first day of my BK life. I walk into the center and You know what happened? I walk into the center. I was 12.5 years old. I walk into the center, and there was Brahma Baba sitting in front of me. And I looked at Baba, and I was awed by Baba, and I said, this is it. This is my father. I don't know what 12 years old girls think nowadays, but then I thought, this is my Baba, my father. Ever since, my relationship with Baba is as a father, always first as a father. And then I looked around, and there were sisters sitting on a floor. Those days we used to sit on a floor. We didn't have a chair. Even in Madhuban, Pandav Bhavan, in a history hall. Everybody seen history hall? Yeah? Anybody not seen history hall? Oh, 1, 2, 3. Oh, quite few. Okay, when you go up the mountain, you must see history hall. That's Baba's original big hall, biggest hall then we had. So he's sitting, but this is the story that I am relating, was in Mumbai. And so I looked around, everybody sitting on a floor in a white dress, and I said in my mind, I want to become one of those, one of these sisters. And I did not know who they were, what it will take to become, but it's your role, it's your drama, it's your fortune that makes you think like this, or you fit right in that way. So ask yourself, what was my day first like? Why I came to Baba, what I wanted? My life, my peace, my comfort, guidance, and stick to it. And yes, this is, and more. My all divine qualities complete, completely viceless, and 60 celestial degrees perfect. All this comes as my prize, my bonus, my Baba's prize that Baba gives us, my fortune. But we are in a confluence age to enjoy our life, to have a comfort, have a peace and perfection. At the same time, the process should be enjoyable, that we do not find that we making effort, the laborious effort. It should be easy effort. When I find something very difficult, I don't do it. I find other way to make it easier and then do it. So it is not too difficult, but it becomes easy, and I enjoy at the same time the process. Because Jnani life, BK life, if it is too hard, and like Baba said, recent Murli, your face should be bright, your face should looking that people get a vision and give Baba's experience. But if my face looks very tired and very bothered and very serious and difficult and all that, then people say, no, I don't want to become Brahma Kumars and Kumaris, because this is too difficult life, They wake up in the morning and they wear white and they don't have a fun in life. Why do I want to become? So Baba says, even by seeing your face, you give vision. Because everybody do not have a time to listen knowledge. But everybody can see, wherever you go, they see your face. And then they can see, oh, there is some sparkle, there is some shine, there is some vibration, there is some light, there is some hope in this face. Otherwise, hopelessness in everyone's faces and tense and tired faces. But Baba says that your faces should do service, your image should do service, your behavior should do service. I we have in San Francisco bus system that they run in every street, and there is sisters, that Mother Teresa's sister, they take a bus to go to places and provide their services. And so they have so much respect in a city for them that when they go by bus, the bus people don't charge them. That, no sister, you don't have to put a coin in a machine. So the sisters are also very humble, and if they sit on a seat in a bus, but if somebody comes, they get up and give them a seat because they didn't put the coin. But our, unfortunately, it's Brahma Kumari means we should not sit line on a line. We should come first. We should have a first class seat. We should be, not giving seat to anybody. Somebody else should give us seat. That's our attitude, because we are the purest of all. And we are the world servers, so we have to have all the privileges of the world, you see. So where the service, where is humility, where is the kindness that we Baba talking about, that in our life, how people can see that we are world server, how people can see that we are changing the world, because our attitude. Baba says your image doesn't mean we walk like a Lakshmi and Narayan and dress up like that and people get a vision. But no, our attitude, our behavior, our everyday interaction with people, that how they see it. And then they say, even we're not wearing white, they can see it, that yes, there is a special person, a special vibration, special attitude, because that's a cleansing inside. There is a purity inside. There is that vibration of having a good thought for other people gives that vision of having Baba's experience. Otherwise, how can we give experience? If you stare at them giving drishti, they will be scared that what is happening. People normally don't look in people's eyes. They just normally look. And so if we start giving drishti, it will be another problem for us. So that's not Baba meant, that give them vision, but give not pure vision means pure thought, because vision means how we look at people, with what attitude, with what thought that I am looking at person, that with who is this person, or how they look like, or what they're doing, with not this is a soul in our mind, because that's where we come from. I am a soul, I'm Baba's child. And so this one is soul and Baba's child. So my natural state of mind is that. Once we asked Dadi Prakashmani, when she travels and comes down from the plane and walking, there is a line of Brahman both sides, about half a mile or so, and Dadi gives drishti and walks to the car. And we asked Dadi, don't you get tired? Huh? Don't you get tired walking and then giving? She said, no, that gives me energy. I am a soul, and these are all soul, Baba's children. And so Dadi gives drishti in walking that way, and that energy comes in. Because that's the natural state of mind. I am a soul, and these are Baba's children. They are souls too, and they are peaceful soul. I am a peaceful soul. But not remember that time. Becomes embodiment. Dadi becomes embodiment of peace and love and purity automatically, and that spreads. But where do they come from? The natural form, by having this practice every day. Having practice every day. Dadi used to give toli, 1,000 people, 2,000 people a day, like this. And we think Dadi is supposed to give toli for 2,000 people. And now we give toli, we know it's workout. 1,000 times you do this. If you are not soul conscious, it hurts. It's my experience. If you give like this, but if you are a natural yogi, then your body is not there. But it's your practice. It's your natural practice. Constant awareness of I am a soul. I am not doing this, my workout, but I am connecting soul to Baba. So it becomes natural. It's not physical form, is not visible. That's giving vision. That giving Baba's experience. We walk in front of Baba in a line. We were walking. Imagine we walking, and our kalpa after kalpa, that's only split of a second, we get Baba's drishti. Many people, souls, had a wonderful experience just by walking in split of a second. Didn't have to stare, or Baba didn't have to stare. Brahma Baba never stare. Baba's drishti in the class, when Baba gave Murli, goes like this, like lighthouse went through. The rays goes like this, floodlight sometimes, but very fast, not like this, like this. But in a split of a second, you get connected with Baba, because that power, because that inner ability of purity, that natural form, that automatically we get that experience. That's what Baba meant by giving vision to others, giving experience through your being in a practical form. We don't have to act, we just have to be. Who am I in my real sense? If we act, not yet in the golden age or in a temple or as a being statue, but in an everyday form, it's all in what's going on in my soul and how I am. I don't have, by now our state should be such that it should be natural. My body consciousness and my soul consciousness shouldn't be separate. I'm supposed to be soul conscious. Automatically, if anything happens in a world, doctor will react one way, engineer will react other way, the judge will react third way, mother will react in a fourth way, different way, because that's who they are. So if I am a soul, how I am supposed to act? We all know this knowledge, it's not a new. Every day we hear, Baba's Murli? Every day we hear about soul consciousness, our virtues, our purity, our service. We hear every day. Why do we hear every day? It becomes natural and becomes real, because we forgot. We forgot our have a cycle of body consciousness, and so we forgot our real form. So now we have to have our real form by practicing, because we were body conscious, now we become soul conscious. And we know that it's not that easy, but if I don't do now, when will I do it? Wait a minute, it's earthquake happening, I'm a soul, I am the soul. Why I keep giving earthquake experience? Because we live in earthquake zone. And so, but any disaster, any situation can come any time. So if automatically, if I have that practice, or if I am a natural, I am not a different person, but I am a soul. So I don't have to jump from body conscious to the soul consciousness, but I am soul. I am not somebody else. Whatever my name is, that's what I am. So when disaster strikes, I don't remember anybody else's name. I remember my name or who I am. So this is, Baba gave us introduction very first day, who you are, where you come from, what's your original nature, how you have to do things in life. All the introduction of ourselves, which we have forgotten, that we were reminded. It's not we given a new self, but our original self were reminded to us. And so we need that, our awareness. And that awareness we have to keep, constant lamp burning. And when constant lamp burning, there is a light. And then people see the vision in that light. But if I need to ignite my light and find a matchbox or something, and then okay, let me, no, then it will not work out. Then by the time they're gone, here Baba gives drishti in a second, and some people, camera, array, put your camera down. This is the only opportunity in a whole cycle, and we are putting your gift down or your greeting card down, then your drishti's opportunity is gone. But kalpa after kalpa, for eternity, this is the only time we get that connection. That's the only time we are connected, soul to Supreme Soul, in a real practical sense. And we keep walking. Imagine this drama goes on. We walking. If you don't keep walking, they make you walk. Okay, go, move, you know how dramatic it is. And yet at the same time, what a wonderful thing happening. The soul connecting with Supreme Soul. So if I don't have that practice, I can forget at that time and I miss my opportunity. Because I am not naturally soul conscious. If I start remembering I am a soul and meeting Baba and start practicing, I miss and I have to walk out by then. But if I am in a natural state of mind from beginning, by the time I am in front of Baba for a split of a second, I get connection. Because my stage is already done. I am already soul conscious. I'm ready. And then I take it. So that opportunity comes only once. But every day my life, many incidents happen, many events happens that we need to be soul conscious, and action and reaction has to be in that awareness that yes, I am a soul. Most of the time we react. We don't act. In a soul conscious, how do I know I'm acting? I'm in a soul conscious. But I'm reacting, I'm body conscious. If you smile, I smile. But if my nature is to smile, whether you smile or not, I will smile. That's my natural state. How do I know? I do what I do, regardless of whoever does. If you invite me in your party, I will invite you to my party. If you don't invite me to your party, I don't invite you to my party. But my nature is to invite you to my party regardless of you invite me to your party or not. That's my natural nature. Once we asked Dadi Prakashmani, in olden days in Pandavavan, Dadi used to live there, and Dadi would, after Murli, she comes down and sits in a courtyard. Anyone remembers that? Huh? Daddy used to sit in a courtyard and in the sun and in winter time, and all her departments, kitchen and daily whatever program goes on, or they pass by Dadi and say hello, good morning, and whatever is going on, they in 2 minutes they tell Dadi, and Dadi gives them direction. And so drama goes on like that, and we come down 2 after Murli and say Dadi good morning, Om Shanti, like that. And then some in a rush or in a hurry, or they don't want to, or they are somewhere not want to talk to Dadi because they were afraid or whatever, then they just pass by and don't talk to Dadi or say hello or good morning or Om Shanti. And so we asked Dadi, Dadi, how do you feel? They didn't say hello to you. And Dadi said, then I say hello to them. Hey, come, Om Shanti, going straight. Huh? And so like that, because Dadi's nature is to say hello to everyone. Regardless you say Om Shanti or not, Dadi would say Om Shanti to you. It's not that she didn't say Om Shanti to me, why would I say Om Shanti to her? See, that's a body consciousness. But the natural nature is to act this way. This is an act. So when we learn to act, then we forget to react. And that's a body consciousness. What is otherwise body consciousness? Negativity, feelings, negative feelings, and reacting through that, that's a body consciousness. The nature of the body that we react with. And the soul conscious is the nature of the original nature of the soul that we react with and act with. So that becomes my natural form. Otherwise, we remain body conscious. And body consciousness invites so many evils and so many vices and so many other stuff that makes us unhappy, and we lose our yoga. We lose our yoga power, then we have to make extra effort for it. So how can we create the natural stage that we only act? And when we only act, we don't make karmic account. If I react, I make karmic account. But in a golden age, no karmic account. Karma becomes a karma, means no karmic account. But when I react, I make account, and becomes more and more tangled and tight, and giving and taking and not giving and not taking and all that. But if I just act, then I just remain detached and go ahead with it. So it is very important to have mind practice the natural way. Constant awareness. That's why we have traffic control. That's why we sit every hour, stop for a minute or for a half a minute. If I am got involved in my work, or if I got busy or something happens, all of a sudden the time comes for traffic control, and we come back to our real sense that, yes, I forgot Baba, here I am, hello, here I am, and then gather our energy back. And so we, all of us have this experience that even 24 hours we do not have a natural state of soul consciousness or God consciousness, consciousness of being Baba's child. Then we have to remind ourselves. We have to practice ourselves. And then before even we realize, after so much practice, it becomes all of a sudden real, all of a sudden natural. We think, oh, but it's not happening, but it happens just like that. And that becomes magic. That becomes a miracle for us. We think miracle don't happen, but miracles do happen all of a sudden. Our effort gives the result. You study all year and result comes in one day. So like that. So if we constantly, it doesn't go waste. Any little effort, any little we think or remember, it's not waste. Maybe it doesn't seem giving the result right away, but it does. It's accumulation, and then reaches to the right point, it happens like that. Okay, Baba, here I am, and a miracle happens, and then Baba gives us this experience, and we think, oh, I didn't do this, but we did it. Without that, Baba, even if I haven't made effort, I haven't done it, Baba cannot even help us. Baba cannot give this. So if I am doing it, and then result comes, yes, of course Baba gives the reward, but it was my effort. So effort does not go waste. It always gives us that what I have made my effort. It's an accumulation. Sometimes we want instant result, and we see there is no result, there is no reward, there is no experience, but it does. There is an experience, but it's not according to what I expected. Otherwise there is always a reward. There is always, whatever we do, we get a reward. If you ate too much, you get a tummy ache. That's a right there result. Whatever we do, we get the reward there. Or every action, it's not like physics have an equal and opposite reaction, but it goes in a very mysterious way, and it comes back to a very mysterious way too, that sometimes we do not realize. And when we do not realize, we think it's not happening. But it does happen. Sometimes it may take a long time, because my effort is not that intense. My service, my good karma is not. But as much we accumulate the karma credit, it does give reward. And when we really need, it comes. But if I don't have a karma credit, then when I really need, we don't get a help enough. So in our good time, in a good days, we accumulate, we inculcate, we make extra effort. We come to Madhuban. Why do we come to Madhuban? To make extra. What we cannot do in our own places, busy life, working and responsibilities, but in Madhuban, whatever we cannot do over there in a whole month, here we can accomplish in one day. The Madhuban is the magic land. Madhuban is the place that everything becomes easy. Because physically it's comfortable, don't have to work, don't have to cook, or don't have to, all this, everything is ready. Even in a center, we have to worry about the light and the microphone and all that, but here even we don't have to think who places the microphone, who sits the chairs, who puts the bhog towel. No, we don't have to think about it, but in the centers we do. But here physically it becomes easy, but more than that, we have a vibration, we have dadis, we have a classes, we have a Amrit Vela. All this comfort that Baba provides us here, that our effort becomes, so we can accumulate, which not only lasts all year, but it goes into our soul permanently, for eternity. Every year, some people have come first time to Madhuban, and some people come maybe 20 times, maybe 30 times, maybe 10 times. But it's accumulation. Every time we come, okay, it lasts my refreshment for a few months or few months till I come next to Madhuban. But at the same time, the transformation which took place in Madhuban, it becomes permanent in my record, in my karma account. And that accumulation leads us to our perfection, leads us to our goal that we want to attain. And that is why Baba says, don't waste time. Even 2 minutes is important. Few moments is also important. And so don't waste time. Madhuban is also very good place to wander and meet friends. And other day who was saying shopping, and time can go even in Madhuban very fast. But have I taken a benefit, the precious time I got it here, the important, I took so much trouble to come here. So am I taking that benefit, or I am enjoying what Madhuban offers to me? Yeah, that's also good. But at the same time, I have to do that, that not take things easy and not accumulate and shift and transformation that we hope for and we come for, that we can do. So that's having the practice of being natural yogi, and what aim Baba has given us to accumulate and to become, giving the vision of experience of God in that way. So we become real and we become the best that what Baba gives us, that we can use in our life, and we don't have any difficulty. Difficulties do come, but we don't experience that difficulty. Bodily difficulties come, situation-wise come, family-wise come, in a service-wise come, but we do not feel that it is difficult. If I feel difficult, means I need to think again why. I need to think what Baba said about this. Why is it difficult for me? But even solving the situation, we don't find is hard. Never heard word from Dadi is hard. This is too much. No, it's not too much. They never said this is too much. Too many Brahmins came, or too much long line, or too much to do, too many problems. Every day phone calls come, then brings not good news. All the phone calls don't bring. But they never said it's too hard, Baba, it's too much. No. With Baba's help, it's fine. Baba's help is fine. Why? Because that's the way it is. That's a natural. So even though solving the whole issue, we find is easier, because that's the drama. Why we forgetting the lesson of drama? Why do we say drama is to teach 7 lessons, or really using it's a scene in drama? The long lines is seen in a drama. Rush is a scene in a drama. Difficulty is also one of the scene in a drama. So we do have to realize that and not take it in that difficult part. And then things becomes easy. So we are easy yogi, aren't we? Okay. Om Shanti. Thank you.